Have you ever looked at the profiles on the race leaderboard and noticed that some players have a highest round of over 1000? Now some people may think how is this possible, but some others might try to get it. You might start with just a vengeful true sun god and some support, which is a pretty good start, but you'll realize that the Bloons that go later on will get much stronger. For example, here's a Moab that's on round 40, and this would be a Moab that's on round 300. The ramping in the late game is really big, and you will find yourself stuck really early on. Round 300 is pretty good, and a lot of people will stop there not only because they can't go on further, but you also get the achievements that you achieve in late game at this point in time, such as the BMA achievement, and if you do multiple runs you can get Sapper as well. But some are not satisfied with just round 300, and they will keep on trying to push it to get to the higher rounds. So how do we get to higher rounds like round 1000, and what is the highest round? Well, the highest round in the game is far past 1000 actually, and people have gotten up to around 3000 and over, with the record being slightly over 3200. But as you can see from these graphs, these were done in earlier versions of the game, where the balloon speed was a lot lower later on, and the Moab health as well was a lot lower. Now what about now, when there's a lot of new free play buffs, where the balloons are a lot stronger and faster? Well, we're going to have to get more than just one vengeful temple doing all of the damage. And recently, in more recent updates, we have players that actually did get to around 1000 legit using a lot of temples. So as you can see here, we have a post on Reddit which shows the round 1000 with a big temple spam. But for a lot of people, this really isn't possible because their computer is not strong enough. So for people like you, how do we deal with this? Now, this post was made by Expert, and as you can see, there's a lot less towers and no temples on the screen, which means that something significant is different between this run and the other. Now, to get straight into it, there is a glitch, and this is not surprising. Ninja Kiwi's games are always full of glitches. For example, this BMA is supposed to turn the balloons that are affected by the golden potion into red balloons, but it turns the DDT into blue balloons. Why? I have no idea, but it's just a random glitch. Now some of these glitches can affect free play, and this is what we're trying to look for. Just a random glitch that will affect free play to make it easier to get to around 1000. And when some show up, people can use them and get way past the round that's supposed to be obtained with these glitches. Not only you can get higher than you're supposed to get to, but you can also do this with a relatively low amount of towers as seen in Exifer's post. So, for people that don't really have a supercomputer like me, this is pretty good news as you can get to rounds like 1000 and plus without having to dedicate a whole room for just one computer to play Btd6. Now, as said before, bugs in this game are very common, but ones that can affect free play and make it easier may not be as common. So they usually will run around here and there, but when you see one, get ready to pounce on it. The bug that was used in this run was actually one to do with Oben. Normally in a late game run you would have a hero like Azili or sometimes Brittle, depending on how you're going to play it, but the reason why Oben was used in this one is because there was a bug with him, and Oben would give the Sun Avatar minis, which came out of the temple, way more damage than they should have. And that's not the only bug that affects late game. As I said before, there's a lot of bugs that come in and out, and this one was another one that affected late game, and the whole premise of it is that the Bernie stuff, or the signal flare, I'm not sure which one, removed the late game properties of everything on the screen, which included the bads, so you could get to a far higher round than intended. And for those of you who are not interested in getting to a crazy high round like round 1000, but just need to get the quick achievements, I have a pretty simple explanation for an ideal late game guide in Btd6. So the main thing about late game setups in Btd6 is that you want to reduce lag as much as possible, because a lot of devices can't handle late game and are often limited by how far they can go by this factor. So what you want to do is remove all of those damage towers, like a crossbow master or a permaspike, that don't really do anything and just make lag. Instead of having laggy towers, you want to have just a vengeful true sun god, which does all the damage, and support plus your hero. So you either want to use Brickle or Zeely. It's up to preference, and they both are really good. But for this time, I used Zeely, and you want to have all the support. So that includes the support temple, a glue storm, a Pbrew, Homeland, Gsabo, and the list goes on. I will put a general list of what to get in the description, and as well as that, you do want to get a few stalling towers just so that some rampant DDTs don't get through. And that is my general guide for late game and how to get to crazy high levels. Have fun and good luck!